Hi everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. My name is Jared. I am feeling better today. Last night was horrific, but I'm actually feeling a lot better today. I'm still kind of drained of energy, but I feel good enough to make a video. And as promised, I wanted to do a video on this fine that the church had to pay. Uh, Basically added up to $5 million, which, I mean, it's not really anything. But there are a couple things about this story that really interested me, and I'm going to show you what they are. So first, I got this email from Deb Mahan or Mehugahan or Maugahan. I'm not exactly sure. I'm sorry. She says, "Hi Jared, what do you make of this? Maybe our church leaders thought it was legal. I don't know." And then she gave me link to go check out. And this is the one that I was referring to in the live stream. So this is from Time. The Mormon Church hid 32 billion in assets according to a new government investigation. Okay. Once again, not using the correct name of the church, even though the church has politely asked the media to use the correct name of the church. So at the end here, this is what I was talking about, and I'll put the link for this in the description below. So in 2019, David Nielsen, let me zoom in, a member of the church and former Ensign Peak investment manager, filed a complaint with the SEC alleging that Ensign Peak had amassed $100 billion in accounts intended for charitable purposes, but that money was not directly funded, had not directly funded any religious, educational, or charitable activities in over 20 years, according to the Washington Post. Nielsen said the money was intended to be used for, quote, the second coming of Christ, end quote. In a 74-page narrative that accompanied his complaint, he wrote, quote, would you pay tithing instead of water, electricity, or feeding your family if you knew that it would sit around by the billions until the second coming of Christ? So who is this person? It's this guy right here, okay? David Nielsen. David Nielsen is the former Mormon investment manager who became a whistleblower regarding the church's finances and tax-exempt status. A criminal complaint has been filed with the IRS by Nielsen, 41, and his identical twin brother, Lars. The confidential complaint was obtained by the Washington Post. Nielsen alleges that the Mormon Church built a lucrative investment portfolio worth around $100 billion through the donations of members and did not use those funds for charitable purposes. The Mormon Church typically asks members to contribute 10% of their income to the organization in a practice known as tithing. In Nielsen's complaint, he wrote, quote, would you pay tithing instead of water, electricity, or feeding your family if you knew that it would sit around by the billions until the second coming of Christ? Now, David, I'm pretty sure you're aware of the Bishop's Storehouse. So it never comes down to you deciding between paying tithing and feeding your family or water or electricity because the church helps with that as well. Okay. So already we're kind of off to a bad start. As if we weren't already with this cheesy, disingenuous smile of yours. Okay, so facts about Nielsen. Nielsen is looking for a cut of what the Mormon Church owes in back taxes as per IRS policy. So this Bo Daggett right here is going to be, or he was looking to benefit and get his quote unquote cut of the back taxes for telling on the church, right? Until September 2019, Nielsen had been a senior portfolio manager for the Mormon Church run investment nonprofit Ensign Peak Advisors. Nielsen had the money. Nielsen said that the money that went through Ensign Peak was used to prop up a struggling shopping mall in Salt Lake City and an equally struggling insurance company. Of course, he's referring to, let's see, what is it called? The City Creek Center shopping mall. So the church was interested in having this shopping mall downtown, which sounds kind of weird, right? But it's not, because it wants to keep the area around the temple nice and pretty and wholesome instead of other things moving in here. And so I guess what they felt was that because there used to be two shopping malls here. When I was growing up, I would take tracks from Murray. Tracks is the light rail system. And you can see the tracks right here. You can't see it too well, but they go up Main Street, okay? And there used to be the what were they called? On this side, on the west side, it was the Crossroads Mall. And then over here, do you guys remember what it was? Anyway, whatever the case, there were like two malls, and things needed to be revamped, and they decided to do the City Creek Center, which is it's a nice mall, right? And so there's like a lot of heartburn about that, a lot of heartburn about when the church bought this part of Main Street and turned it into a plaza, which connected this city block to this city block. You know, because this city block is Temple Square, and then this city block over here has the church administration building, the church office building, the Joseph Smith Memorial Building, so on and so forth. The church also built this residential tower, which I think would be awesome to live there. That's kind of a dream of mine. It's never going to happen. Wouldn't it be so cool? And then there's like these residential buildings right here too. Look at these windows. Especially if you lived in this one right here. So if you lived, if you lived right here, you could just open these blinds and then look right over to the temple. Right over here. You have like the best view. It's amazing. Lucky ducks that live there. Okay, well, anyway, let's go back here. So, a section on the Mormon Church's website regarding finances said that the church retains some donations for the future. Most of the donations go toward the day-to-day running of the church. Number 2, David Nielsen began working at Ensign Peak Advisors in 2010. Nielsen founded his own tech startup in Silicon Valley in 2012. There he is again. Number 4, Nielsen has now followed his wife and has left the Mormon Church. So there they are. Number 5, in drafting the complaint, Lars Nielsen, so this is his twin brother, first cough, recalled a woman he met in Mexico who saved every penny to donate to the church. Yeah, it's called being a faithful person. So before I continue, okay, as we're thinking about David Nielsen, I just want to point out one thing. Under the 14 fundamentals of following the prophet, and I would say this doesn't just apply to following the prophet, but just your attitude towards church, towards spiritual matters. The 11th fundamental is this. The two groups who have the greatest difficulty in following the prophet are the proud who are learned, and the proud who are rich. And I don't know. I don't know this person. Maybe he's genuine, maybe he's not, but I tend to think he's probably just your typical run-of-the-mill worldly person that has his mind, on money and the things of this world. And just like any good, okay, I'm not going to go that far, but it's like you see an opportunity to get your cut of money. You think that you have an opportunity to turn the church into the IRS and then get some of the money. That's what you do when you're a person like this. So anyway, I don't really trust his character too much, and therefore I don't know. I can't put full confidence in what he says here, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's true. If he knew that a lot of the money was reserved for the second coming of Christ. And that's not too surprising. When we're talking about money being reserved for the second coming, it'd be interesting to know how much the church had set aside and for what exactly. If it's simply for more temples in the lead up to the second coming, or if it's for other things like special projects. Like I said, maybe money reserved for the literal building up of New Jerusalem in Independence, Missouri. Maybe doing special projects for Adamon, or maybe helping the Jews to build their temple, or who knows? It could be anything. And like I said during the live stream, I wonder how things are going to work economically as we transition from this side of the second coming to the next side of the second coming into the millennium. I personally don't think there's going to be like a clean break where all of a sudden it's like, okay, no one has jobs anymore, no one's making money. Now, we're going to be using shekels, millennial shekels. I don't know. I don't know how things are going to go, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's more natural, and at least at the very, very, very beginning of the millennium, it kind of carries through. Where we are still using U.S. dollars and euros and stuff like that, and then over time, we transition to however things work during the millennium. So it could be that some of this money is reserved for that period. You know, maybe it's reserved for. We've talked about it before. As we think about these changes made to the temple, how it seems that the changes are geared toward people that are new to the temple and new to the church. And as we think about the large number of people that are going to join the church at the beginning of the millennium, it could be that the church is going to need to build lots and lots of meeting houses and temples and other stuff. So they're just getting prepared for that. Now, frankly, I wouldn't care if the church was building rockets, just empty rockets, and shooting them off into space every week with no explanation. I would still pay my tithing. Do you know why? It's because I have a testimony. It's because I know, not through proof, not through, worldly means. I know that the church is true. And I know that the prophet is the Lord's mouthpiece, and that this really is his church, and that I don't understand everything. So, again, if the church just started shooting off rockets into space with no reason or no explanation, I would still pay my tithing. I wouldn't care. They could load those rockets up with pallets of cash. I still wouldn't care. I wouldn't. Because what's more real to me is what I have felt from the Spirit. That is more real than this stupid world that we live in. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess that yes, he's probably telling the truth right here, where he knew that some of the money was reserved for the second coming of Christ. I don't know how he could possibly say this about making the choice between paying tithing or water, electricity, or feeding your family, because he should darn well know that we have the bishop's storehouse and the church helps with those things. I've seen it time and time again throughout my life. No one in the church has had to worry about water, electricity, or feeding their family as they're choosing to pay tithing. That's a lie. That is just an absolute lie from someone that's probably a psychopath. And that may sound harsh, but usually people that are psychopaths are um it depends. There's different types, but there's the type that they rise up the ranks of society. They're very interested in money, power, stuff like that. Um I just look at this guy. Sorry, I know there's always people that don't like it when I attack other people, and sorry, I have weaknesses, and I don't like this picture. I don't. I don't. Um, what next? So this is in 29. No, wait, sorry. This is 2021. Just a little bit more information. Okay, whistleblower. Okay, this guy, whistleblower, in IRS complaint against LDS Church, gives statement in Huntsman fraud lawsuit. Salt Lake City. A former manager for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints investment arm, who filed a whistleblower complaint with the Internal Revenue Service, was given a sworn has given a sworn declaration in James Huntsman's high-profile fraud lawsuit against the faith. David Nielsen's statement was included in a late-night court filing by Huntsman, who alleges who alleges the Latter-day Saint Church used tithing money for improper purposes, including funding downtown's City Creek Center project. Huntsman is the brother of former Utah Governor John Huntsman Jr. and a member of the what? Oh, the wealthy family. Yeah, no surprise there. No surprise there. Here's another one. This is 2019. Church responds to allegations made by former employee in IRS complaint. David Nielsen, 41, resigned from church employment in August because, according to the Post, his wife and children had left the church had left church membership. Nielsen alleges in the complaint that the Ensign Peak Advisors, the church's investment arm, has holdings worth between 99 billion and 101 billion. He claims Ensign Peak is not meeting IRS regulations for using a percentage of its funds annually for religious, educational, or charitable purposes. Nielsen is seeking a whistleblower's reward of a percentage of any back taxes the IRS recovers, according to the Post. He's just doing the right thing. That's what he's in it for. I'll bet he's going to donate that money his plans were to donate that money to charity. I'll bet that's what he was going to do. Okay, Chris Camp, church under attack again. Well, no, I mean, this has just been an ongoing thing, but it's been for a while. It's been for years, so it's not like a recent thing. The thing that's recent is the fine of $5 million. Okay, but it's not like this is like a brand new thing. It's been festering for a while. Okay, let's see. Mormon Church investment company to pay $5 million for misleading public. SEC. Outside experts said that while it is not uncommon for the SEC to pursue cases with a religious angle, it was unusual to see a fine assessed against a church as large as the Mormon Church. which represents roughly 1% of Americans, according to the Public Religion Research Institute. Quote, the SEC routinely brings enforcement actions with a faith-based angle, but charges against a religious organization, particularly one this size, are extremely unusual. End quote, said Adam Adderton, a partner at Wilkie Farr and Gallagher LLP and former co-head of the SEC's asset management unit. So that would seem to be an attack against the church. I mean, I don't know. I can only go off of what this guy is saying, Adam Adderton. So why are we doing this if it's extremely unusual? Why is it like why? I don't know. I don't know enough about these things, but yeah, definitely seems like it's definitely an attack of some kind. Um, although it has been playing out for a while, and I guess it only came to a conclusion on Tuesday of this week. In a statement, the church said it had relied on legal counsel in creating an arrangement to report holdings while maintaining, quote, the privacy of the portfolio, end quote. It said it halted the practice after the SEC raised concerns with it in 2019 and cooperated with its investigation. Quote, we affirm our commitment to comply with the law, regret mistakes made, and now consider this matter closed, the church said. The church agreed to pay $1 million while Ensign Peak will pay $4 million to settle charges. So there you go. I got this email from Nicholas Ledbetter. I got a number of emails, by the way, but I'm only going through these three. So he says, I thought you might be somewhat interested as I was. After listening to your video about the Ensign Peak Advisors SEC fine and all that, I thought I would look into it and see if I could find the things, or if I could find the filings. I found them by doing a quick SEC search. Here's the link. And I'll put this link in the description below. It takes you to this. Okay. This is for, you can see it in the address up here, Ensign Peak. And it just has, I guess, all their investments or whatever, their accounts. Um, after looking at it for a while, it looks like a well-diversified index fund to me, similar to the S&P 500 or Dow or other large index funds like that. I copied it to an Excel and sorted by investment amount, which I thought was interesting. I attached the Excel file if you want to look at it. There are 1,786 different investments in the fund according to the most recent filing. Of course, this doesn't shake my faith or testimony. It probably strengthens it to know the church practices what it preaches and lives within its means, stays out of debt, and saves and invests for a rainy day or the second coming. Excited to hear your video with your thoughts. Get well and keep up the good work, brother. Nick. Thank you, Nick. So you guys can check this out. So, yeah. So it just seems like someone decided that they wanted to be greedy and try and harm the church after his wife left the church and whatever. And but we did get this interesting tidbit. You can choose to believe it or not, but I would not be surprised at all if the church has money for the second coming, whatever that may be. And I would love to hear your thoughts below. What you think what you think the church would save up for the second coming. The only thing that I can think of, like I said, I'm just going to do it again. So, getting ready for the influx of members at the beginning of the second coming, there's going to be a great need for meeting houses, more temples, maybe to help with disaster, like the disasters that accompany the second coming. And then like big projects, like maybe, well, I wouldn't think that they would really need more money or need to do any more with Adam on Diamond. I guess I picture that area just kind of staying how it is rather than being developed. But I don't know. What if they turn it into like a big, like maybe a big temple will be there or something, and they'll really landscape it and preserve the altars and stuff that are there. I don't know. Um, New Jerusalem in Jackson County, maybe they'll want money for that to just like not only build up the temples, but do a bunch of construction and turn it into the way that Joseph Smith envisioned it. And then, like I said, possibly helping the Jews in Jerusalem, maybe helping with building the temple there or something. I have no idea. So, but yeah, put your thoughts in the comments below. I appreciate everybody your concern for me being sick. I really am feeling a lot better today, and hopefully you've noticed I haven't coughed as much during this video. I've been having like a fever, but it's like broke a few times, and I don't know. I slept all the way until 2 p.m. today. Of course, it took me a long time to fall asleep, and it was very interrupted sleep, but I slept till 2 and woke up feeling a lot better. Yesterday I was having like really severe, well, not severe, but like moderate chills and stuff like that. So I was trying to stay warm, taking showers, and just staying under the covers. So I'm feeling better. I think I'm going to be okay. So thank you everybody for all your comments, your advice of what to do. I think it's going to be okay. All right, well, that's going to be it for this one. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Also, make sure to share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.